According to this guy, MLS is worse than English League Two, the English fourth division. But what does a more respectable or objective source, such as Opta, say of MLS? Well, in the latest Opta Power Rankings, the MLS is the 10th ranked league in the world and the second highest rated outside of Europe. And even if we only do the top 10 teams only in MLS, which actually hurts MLS due to the high levels of parity, it's still in 10th place, right behind the Brazilian Serie A. But you notice some other leagues jumped up. The Dutch Eredivisie, which was weaker than MLS overall, went up ahead of it. Now, obviously, we need to take these rankings with a grain of salt. We do not know how accurate they actually are in reality because these leagues simply just do not compete against each other enough, especially those which are outside of each other's continents. However, they do use an ELO ranking system, which is similar to what they use in chess, which is among the best predictors for this. So it's at least better than other formulas. However, it's still very, very flawed. Not to mention, there are just simply many complexities that make it very, very difficult. One of which is the balance of talent within the leagues. Most of the top European leagues and the leagues outside the top five are very, very top heavy. The easiest example we can get of this is in the overall top 10, MLS is ranked higher than the Dutch Eredivisie. But in the top 10 teams only, the Dutch Eredivisie jumps over both MLS and the Brazilian Serie A. So what that suggests is that the Dutch Eredivisie's top teams are much, much better than the bottom of their league, to which the MLS and Brazilian league have better mid and lower level teams than the Dutch Eredivisie does. However, that's not the only complication. The other complication is the lack of intercontinental competition makes it very difficult to compare teams within Europe to those teams outside of Europe. And I think this favors the rankings of European teams, and maybe even drastically so. Because all of these European leagues, thanks to the Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League, regularly get to compete against teams from the top 5 leagues in the world. And because of this, that likely increases their ranking overall, to where teams outside of Europe simply do not get this advantage. The Brazilian league competes in Copa Libertadores and Copa Sudamericana, which frankly, they're not playing any teams from any league superior to them. There's only a handful of teams from the Argentinian and a few other leagues that are on the same level as the top Brazilian teams. And even then, it's not actually that many. Look at how dominant the Brazilian league has been in Copa Libertadores. Then with North America, CONCACAF, MLS really just gets to compete against Liga MX. Liga MX is their only real competition in CONCACAF, which doesn't really provide MLS with that boost to the rankings. Same thing with Liga MX. So my hypothesis is leagues outside of Europe, especially leagues like the Brazilian League, MLS, Liga MX, and also the Argentinian Professional League, are probably undervalued due to Opta rankings. Now, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. How accurate do you think these are? Do you think MLS is worthy of a top 10 status? Or is there another league you think is better?